Hi, this is Greg with Lionquestfitness. Today we're going to look at a Charter Arms mag pug. Now, I haven't owned a Charter Arms since the early 80s, and I've had several people ask me about doing reviews. I have friends who actually like the Charter Arms revolvers and recommend them. Now, I purchased this gun from Kentucky Gun Company, and the first hiccup came. I had it on layaway. When I paid it off, and they were supposed to send it to me, it was actually another gun, because what happened when they were taking it out of inventory, they found out that the box had been broken and the gun had actually rusted. So they sent that gun back to Charter Arms, and they notified me and said it'd be a couple of more weeks before they could get a gun out to me. Hiccup number two, when I opened up the case, and they do send a nice plastic case. These were not the grips that were in the picture of the gun that I ordered. In fact, as far as I can tell, they don't normally send these grips out on a gun. These are the compact rubber grips that sell on their website for $19.99, which is actually the same price as their full-size, what they call combat grips. They're also rubber, but they have the Charter Arms logo indented on them. Now, these grips, they didn't really fit very well, and I had to tighten it down, and I don't know if you can see this or not, but now the screw is actually bulging through the rubber. They're cheap looking, and I automatically, it was like, why don't I just take it back to the FFL and just sell it to him at a loss? You know, when I saw these grips, it just, I don't, for whatever reason, took the sales right out of me. One thing I will say, these grips do work well when shooting .357 as far as absorbing recoil. It just wasn't what I expected or was what I was wanting on the gun. Now, third hiccup, point of aim. And you know, in this day and time, I find that many gun manufacturers, especially with revolvers, have sights that are raised higher than the rear trench. And that if you shoot point of aim, that you're going to wind up shooting 6 to 8 inches low. All right. But that was, to me, that's a problem. You know, I'm shooting this gun, and I'm only shooting at 10 yards, and I'm winding up 8 inches low. And of course, you can compensate for this, and I've done this with my Ruger SB101, but you can put the front sight above the trench, and you can hit where you want. You just have to figure out where the aim point is. All right, aim point can be adjusted for. You know, grips can be changed. You know, but the thing that really was the elephant in the room was the fact that the gun didn't work properly. You know, I was shooting the PMC Bronze 38 and .357, and I could get 2 or 3 rounds downrange, and then the trigger would bind up. The cylinder wouldn't turn. And I could turn it by hand and get it into battery, and then shoot 2 or 3 more rounds, and then once again, it would bind up again. Now, subsequently, I've been dry firing the gun with snap caps and just cycling the action to see if maybe it'd smooth out a little bit. Now, normally I use these safety snaps from Zeta 6, but they won't fit in the Charter Arms revolvers. Now, it does seem to have smoothed up a good bit. So before I send it off, I'm going to take it back to the range and shoot some more rounds through it and see if it's still binding up. So let's go to the range. All right, my aim point was right here. but that's a little bit tight. And we're shooting at 10 yards. Also, that's not a keyhole, that's just the paper tearing. All right, once again, it looks like a keyhole, but that's just where the paper was torn. And I am aiming right there. And you see where the elevation is dropping. All right, once again, this is my aim point, but I seem to be drifting down here. Didn't have any binding on the cylinder till that last few rounds, and then the cylinder locked up again. And I got the empties out, and there was still one live round, and I was able to get the cylinder out, but now I can't get it out, and it's not going to turn in any way, shape, form, or fashion. So it's definitely going back to Charter Arms, and how this review turns out at the end in the next installment depends on Charter Arms. And this is Greg with Lionquest Fitness.